Donald Trump's choice to outsource his get out the vote operations to Elon Musk means that Trump gets access to Elon Musk's millions, but that cash also comes with, shall we say, unorthodox methods of running a get out the vote operation. The Guardian reports that an app used by the Trump campaign and the Musk-backed America PAC to track paid canvassers' efforts to reach rural voters, that app keeps crashing in those very rural areas where internet service is often slow. As a result, the Trump campaign and America PAC then have little way to know whether canvassers are actually knocking on doors or whether they are cheating. Because remember, they are getting paid to do this work by Elon Musk. One political operative involved with the PAC said, maybe Elon Musk can give his canvassers a Starlink, which is a joke about Musk's satellite-based mobile internet router, but actually might not be a bad idea. Joining me now is Ben Wickler, chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. Ben, thank you for being here. I said we need someone that really understands how you build a robust field operation and what it means to have paid canvassers and apps that don't work. Ben, I want to read, that person is you, Ben. I want to read you this quote from the Washington Post. Some of his early advisors on the super PAC warned Elon Musk he was trying to move too fast for such an ambitious political project, cautioning that it would require months more to properly hire and train the necessary staff. Musk declined to dilute his ambitions, appearing to believe that if we just run out there with clipboards and tell people what's at stake, they will be convinced. What alarms you most about the details we're learning about the Musk operation here, Ben?
I'll be totally honest. I'm delighted by learning these details about the Musk operation because these efforts are all trying to elect someone who would be a terrible, terrible president. So the fact that it's a total disorganized dumpster fire of a ground game on the Republican side is good news for democracy. It's good news for freedom. It's good news for any working family that doesn't want to be slapped with a $4,000 Trump tax, because they're not going to be able to turn out those last few voters that could tip an election that is basically tied in states like Wisconsin.
But to be kind of very elementary about it, walk me through, what an effective field operation looks like and what we're hearing about here.
Absolutely. I'll say tonight I was in Grant County in southwestern Wisconsin. There were 25,000 voters there in the 2020 election. And in Grant County, we've been organizing continuously, going back to the spring of 2017 at the Democratic Party of Wisconsin. The chair before me launched organizing programs. I worked to scale them up. We've been building out a team of volunteers that knows every inch of that county, every inch of Platteville, every inch of Cuba City, all over that county. We have local folks who've been going door to door, building relationships with their neighbors. Some of them use paper and clipboards. Others have the minivan app on their phones, which allows you to sync when you do have internet access and save the data when you don't have internet access, so it doesn't crash the way apparently the Republican app does. It takes time. A lot of the volunteers who are doing this are older folks who are not familiar with the technology, or they're new volunteers for whom the idea of going up to a stranger and talking to them about politics can be scary. So you want to go out the first time with someone who's already done this before. But you build the strength, you build the practice, especially you do it in a local election, and then you do it in the big presidential election. You get better and better at it. None of that is happening in the Elon Musk America PAC operation. And the field operation, it's not going to turn a close race into a landslide, but it can give you that extra half a point that is what tips an election in a state like Wisconsin. And that's where having glitch after glitch with an untested operation, it's like getting into a Tesla that's supposed to drive itself that then slams into the wall of the parking garage. This is not what you want to see in a presidential campaign.
Well, that's a very apt metaphor, Ben. Talk to me a little bit about, I'm very interested, and I sort of belabored the point about the ground game because I agree with you. In terms of the margins, which is what this race is going to be won on, this could be the difference maker, right? This could be the difference between Donald Trump in the White House, Kamala Harris in the White House. In terms of these volunteers who are paid, hired by Elon Musk, a guy with no political experience, and are still being hired less than 3 weeks to go, what does that tell you about the quality of the argument they are going to be making to these low propensity voters who are apparently the target of the Trump campaign in terms of winning this race?
there's a lot of research that it's not just the number of doors you knock, it's the quality of the conversation that you have, your ability to engage, to listen, to be able to speak to the issues that people care about. You know, if folks who are watching this right now who feel strongly about this, you can get involved. Go to wisdems.org/volunteer or chip in at wisdems.org/donate. When you volunteer, you will know what issues Kamala Harris actually stands for. You'll practice the script of things you're going to say. You're going to walk people through the process of making a plan to vote. If you're hiring people willy-nilly at the last second who may not actually support your candidate and sending them out, they're just not going to do a very good job of actually hitting the points that move the votes. Having a commitment to actually generating victory is critical in the final stretch. And all over Wisconsin, I'm hearing from people that they're getting door hangers left on their doors, but the America PAC paid canvassers not actually knocking on the door and talking to people. They're just trying to cross that house off the list, if they're even doing that. There's a big difference between leaving something on someone's doorstep and having an honest face-to-face conversation with them about the issues they care about the most. And that's why we work so hard to build a field operation that builds authentic conversations and relationships with voters and treats them with respect instead of treating them as a paycheck, essentially. And you know, I wish the best of luck to all the folks who are on the payroll at America PAC. Feel free to speak from your heart if you think that Harris would be a better presidential candidate. But I think there's a questionable strategy from the Trump campaign on the ground game this year.
Ben Wickler encouraging all America PAC volunteers or paid staff to just go ahead and leave the brochures at the doorstep. Don't bother talking. No problem there. Thank you for joining me, Ben. It's great to hear from you.
Thanks so much for having me on.